let me ask you to examine some fundamental principles of a particular thing that Joe Rogan brought up to me several times online and offline,
Okay.
which is that he thinks that the tie that I wear
Okay.
is something that makes me vulnerable to attack. That you should be. The reason he doesn't wear a tie is because he can get choked very easily with a tie.
It's a big concern.
Okay. My contention, and by the way, he wore a suit last time too. He didn't wear it on the podcast. He wore it for dinner later.
Yeah, I wore a suit the other day and I had no socks on. I didn't realize. Yeah.
You're supposed to wear socks.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Why'd you wear a suit? Did you go to court again?
No, no. Hey, I don't know. I just wanted to play. I wanted to pretend I was an adult for a day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, my contention is like the jacket. Everything is more dangerous than a tie.
That's kind of where I was going with that. That's kind of where, was my first thought too. Like once the tie becomes an issue, like
I feel like everything else is already an issue.
It's already an issue, yeah.
Because the tie to me now, without like messing with it now, is to me has some of the similar problems that a belt does. So, like for example, I don't know about you. Maybe you can correct me, but I'm not sure you can use the belt as tied. I know there's some kind of guards you can probably utilize the belt with, but the belt, when it's tied around the waist.
You're talking about a belt or a gi belt?
Sorry, gi belt.
Okay.
Sorry, gi belt. Importantly, gi belt. It's not that great of a thing to use in most cases, I would say, because it slides.
Yep, that's true.
It doesn't. You can probably invent a few interesting ways to use it as leverage, as control, and so on. But there's just so many more things around
that are better,
the belt
better suited.
Better.
Yeah.
And so for me, the tie, what people don't realize,
I suppose, are we trying to sell a DVD here and have some widgets and bells and whistles? Because in that case, the belt is a really important part of what we do, and I would really encourage you guys to look into it.
Yeah.
If we're trying to actually like learn something and say, like you said, we're surrounded by better options.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's not obvious to me that the belt. Maybe there's actually undiscovered things about using the belt. I think people have used like putting a foot inside the belt somehow, inside the gi belt. There's some.
Well, this is a no punches gi grappling situation. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's already fairly contrived, right?
But with punches too. Like, is there? Okay, let's talk about a street fights with a belt that's like a jeans belt, like a belt, clothing belt.
Okay, so I get to take it off and whip them in the face with the buckle? How serious is this street fight? Are we talking like that bar in Oklahoma where that kid got beat up, or are we talking like
death? Like one of you has to die.
Oh, yikes! Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, you ever like?
I'm in this situation all the time.
I understand.
And there's a reason I'm still here.
I had somebody try to fight me in a Starbucks the other day.
Kids. We're talking about power differential.
Yeah. Hey,
I beat up kids all the time.
Just pick the easy W's. You got to get the easy W's. You want the hard ones.
I'm undefeated.
Come around the playground, watch what happens.
No, like to the death. What is their clothing that's useful? From my perspective,
you mean like for your use or their use?
Both. Oh. For my use, their use. No, like I like how you went to take the belt off and use the buckle to hit them with. But first of all, how are you going to take off the belt?
Well,
there's a lot of effort involved in unclothing.
Well, what I was figuring was when they started to see me take my pants off in the fight, they were like, "What?" They're going to pause and rethink the situation for a second.
Yes,
and I'm making dead eye contact. Obviously, what's going on. Yeah, exactly. Nodding, and then by the time they realize you took a belt off until you could whip them with it, you're already possibly 2 steps ahead.
Okay, so fine. Let's not talk about your own clothing. Let's talk about their clothing.
Okay, I'll take off their belt and hit them with it.
No, but that's much harder.
No question. But if you can do it,
while maintaining, I just
like how did it come to this?
But the point is, there's alternatives that are perhaps more effective.
Yeah.
In my perspective, this might be clueless. There's almost no clothing that's more effective than almost assuming the situation is no gi grappling. Like I feel like clothing,
particularly when you start to add hitting. Like every single time I start grabbing your clothes, if you start hitting, it's not like nothing could work. But most of the time, you're like, why am I not using my arms for something better than what I'm doing them right now?
Right.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for me to, I don't know, in terms of just distance. I can't imagine a case of different distances, even like situations where, let's not talk about like a situation where you haven't both yet agreed that a fight is happening.
Mm-hmm. Solid
like
clothing's nice if they have it on. Then I mean,
solid clothing.
oh yeah, like something like a good jacket because you can snatch somebody on their face.
Snatch
People,
down.
yeah, it's like if you took my like like you snap down in judo, like how easy it is to snap down a beginner.
Yeah.
It's like,
so I agree with you. Actually, a tie in that sense might be a really effective way to snap down. So like the snap down is really powerful to change the like disorient the situation and give you a lot of different opportunities for taking their back, taking them down,
doing hilarious stuff like snapping them down with their tie into your knee, and then when they come back up doing this, and you're already.
So yeah, in that sense, I agree, but not as a choking mechanism because the concern Joe had is choke.
I think you could probably choke me with your tie more easily than I could choke you with your tie.
Probably,
I'm serious because like if you get my back and you can put it around somebody's neck, like you ever see a Die Hard? Yeah. You remember when the super Swedish looking blonde dude or whatever was trying to choke Bruce Willis with the chain? Yeah, and then he ended up getting choked himself with the chain, if I recall this properly.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like that. But I feel like if I start grabbing your tie, you have too many other great options.
I mean, I do like the snap down that you actually made me realize.
No, I think you have good there.
What's that?
I think you're on the right path with it.
With a snap down?
Yeah, particularly if you start with like one of these, like you poke your finger in my chest and then snap down real quick.
Oh yeah, because it also, socially speaking, it's not a threatening thing to reach for the tie. It's not
particularly in like a business setting. You know what I mean? They'll never see it coming.
Yeah, because I was thinking choke, but it's not. It's a really good leverage point because like grabbing a jacket, the jacket will slide if you try to snap down. Yeah. You really have to get a hold, like a really good hold.
Well, that's a good point because it's around the back of the neck. But what if it's a clip on? How much of a jackass would you look like if you're like, and then they just they stick you one? But you ever see the Japanese politician, or I think it was Japan,
the judo throw?
Yeah, it was. The guy he was so calm and cool. Had like it was beautiful technique. Yeah. The level of actually the throw was even gentle.
Yeah,
but it was perfect. It's amazing.
Well executed. Yeah. More of our politicians to just toss the shit out of each other.
Yeah, we need more Teddy Roosevelts. Exactly. I like our politicians like talking about fighting when it's clear that none of them would ever have been in a fight ever.
Yeah. Somebody was saying Teddy Roosevelt is interesting. I didn't realize this. He's one of the greatest presidents this country's had. And he was one of the greatest presidents, even though he faced no crisis whatsoever. He literally willed himself. Like nothing happened during his presidency. He's just a bad motherfucker who made really great speeches.
Yeah.
So he this made me realize, I was just talking to a historian, that like most of the people who we think are great need also a good crisis that reveal their greatness.
But Muhammad Ali, right?
This Muhammad Ali. Yeah. I mean, in sports.
But you know what I mean? Like the circumstance, because what is greatness? You know what I mean? It's like you have to, it's not just your capacity, it's what you face, right? It's the quality of opposition, circumstance, what you overcome.
So I guess what you're saying is Joe Rogan is wrong about the tie thing.
I don't want to go so far as saying he's wrong. The man's not here to defend himself. Maybe he has some things that I'm not understanding. I'm willing to.
He has not deeply thought this. This is my main criticism of Joe. He's not deeply thought to this. And the MMA journalist will be like, Ryan Hall says Joe Rogan is wrong.
And hates ties.
They'll integrate Hitler back in there somehow.
Oh, nice.